Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Ntwaniengomane, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I hope you guys are well. Literally, this is probably the fifth time I'm trying to shoot this video, so I hope this is the final time and it works. Like, it just wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to come out. But first of all, I just want to say thank you guys so much for receiving so well my last two videos about relationships. Like, you guys are so appreciative of how vulnerable I was, and like, you guys received the content so well of that video. Your views were amazing, and also on the last vlog as well, a lot of people affirming that I don't need to change the way I look or change the way I dress to attract men. Honestly, like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and you know, like, beautiful things like that. And just you guys affirming me that, you know, the right person will find me in my most authentic state and in my most authentic self, and they literally will be satisfied with that. And I honestly just want to thank you guys so much for the positivity in the comments. Like, this community has been and continues to be amazing. Like, you guys are so polite and so warm in the comments. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching this video, please do consider subscribing. It is absolutely free, and you will become a part of my journey, which is what I am continuing to share in today's video. So today's video it's not a continuation, but maybe call it like an update really from the last time I spoke about this topic. So if you guys remember, a couple of months ago I did a video about I don't know what I'm doing in my life, and you know, I don't have it all figured out. I don't know if I want to stay in this country. I don't know if I want to leave and go back to South Africa or go back to another country. Like, I know I don't want to be in audit, but I also don't know what else I want to do, right? And I was just like, so sad. It was just a really sad video. If you haven't watched it, I will link it somewhere here or down in the description box, right? So following that video, I was having a conversation a couple of weeks back with Kuti, and she was just talking about, you know, like, I was telling her like, oh, I'm working on something, I'm trying to figure out something. Once I have it all figured out, I want to share it on my channel, and I want to tell people how maybe they, you know, they can also figure it out too if they're in the same boat. And she was basically saying, well, why not like share the actual journey of how you get to that thing, so that whoever is also going through it goes through the journey with you, instead of, you know, like, you going through it and then get to the end and then tell everybody go start there. You know what I mean? So I was like, it's yes, of course, you know, let's share the process, but also sharing the process requires like a different level of vulnerability. It requires like a different level of, I don't know, it's a bit scary because I don't even know if this process is gonna work. First of all, I don't even know if it's gonna yield anything tangible at the end of the day. But yeah, this is my process. This is what I have done so far, and I'm continuing to do. Right, so following that video, I had a little introspection moment, and I sat down with myself and I said, Ntwana, no, we are 28. Okay, there is absolutely no pressure for you to have figured things out in your life by a certain age. But I said to myself, we are 28, baby girl. And yes, you don't have it figured out. Yes, you don't know. But also, we need to start asking questions so we can start thinking about it, so we can start uncovering, and maybe we can know. Because it's one thing to sit and say, I don't know, and not do anything about it. Where I'm at now is, yes, you don't know, but what are you doing about it, you know? So I sat down with myself, and I got a pen, I got a paper, and I started asking myself very hard and difficult questions to answer. And I said to myself, what is your ideal lifestyle? Like, if money was not an issue, and I know this sounds cliche, right? But honestly, this question can uncover some greatest answer, or some answer that can lead you to like a good idea of what you want. So I said, if money was not an issue, what would you do? Like, what would you wake up in the morning and you do? And obviously my first instinct was I would travel. Oh my god, I would like go to this island and just stay there and like get like a 5-star hotel and just live my best life. Basically, that was my first answer. But then I realized, yes, that would be great for maybe a month, right? But the rest of my life, would I do that every day for the rest of my life? And I started like digging deeper and deeper above the, or below the holidays and the traveling and, you know, the soft life. I said, what meaningful thing do I actually want to do on a day-to-day basis with my life? And I started asking myself, you know, if you had everything that you've ever wanted and you've achieved all, you know, your big ticket goals, you have a house, you've got the car, you've got the marriage, you've got the kids, and you have everything, what exactly is it that you would wake up in the morning and do that is meaningful to you? And I started writing those things down. There was a lot of praying. I prayed about it, and I said to God, like, God, you said you had a plan for me. What is the plan? Okay, like, I need to start working towards the plan. What is it? And I just, you know what, I reached a different level of vulnerability in my prayer, because sometimes, you know, like, prayers can be modest. You sit there and you have like this modest prayer that is recited, and I don't know if it's just me, but like sometimes I have like a modest prayer where I'm praying, but at the same time I'm looking at God like he's there and I'm here. But I got to a different level where I was just like so vulnerable in my prayers, and I was just like, God, there is no way, like, I don't believe that you put me on this earth for me to spend the rest of my life auditing financial statements, ticking in samples and following up, and like, there's no way that I was born to just come and look at spreadsheets. Like I just don't believe that that is what you had in mind when you said I have a plan for your life, you know. And as I prayed about it, like, I reached a different level of vulnerability with God, and I prayed about it, and I wrote down like all the things that were in my heart and things that were coming to my mind. And so going through all of that exercise and asking myself those questions, and also just reading this book. I have shown you guys this book before. I still haven't finished reading it, but it has some really good questions that help you uncover your ideal lifestyle, what your ideal lifestyle is like, and what kind of life you want to build for yourself outside of your job, or outside of the corporate normal 9 to 5, right? So I then realized out of that there are 3 things that I really value, right? So there was freedom of time, it was freedom of finances, and freedom of location. And then I started asking myself, well, if that is that's the kind of lifestyle I want to be able to own my time, to be able to have enough finances or enough money to fund the lifestyle that I want, and to be able to live anywhere I want to live, not be locked down to a certain place because of a job or because of some sort of restriction. If that is the kind of lifestyle that I want, what am I doing today to work towards that? What am I doing today that contributes to that? And the first one, maybe I'm going to start with, is time, right? So yes, I am in a corporate space, and by virtue of being in a corporate space means I'm selling 8-9 hours of my time a day in exchange for money. And I've realized that ever since assuming manager role responsibilities, I have even further compromised my time. So outside of the normal 9 to 5 hours, I still work overtime on the weekdays, and I still work overtime on the weekends, further like taking away that freedom of time. And so the first thing that I realized that maybe I should focus on doing while I'm figuring things out is work on getting some of my time back. And that does not necessarily mean quit my 9 to 5 so I get the whole day back, but it might mean maybe maneuvering and maybe changing the role still within a 9 to 5 setting, but go into a role that will give me my time back. So, i.e., not working overtime during the week, or not working overtime on the weekends, or even if there is an element of overtime, it is not consecutively every weekend or consecutively every week. So that's the first thing like I'm doing right now, actively trying to look for a way to maneuver still within the corporate space, still within the 9 to 5 role, trying to maneuver into either a role or either a division or either an organization, whatever it is, as long as it affords me my time back. That's the first thing. And then the second thing that I'm doing to work towards the financial freedom leg of this bigger picture, all right, is looking for a role that will maximize my income, looking for a role where I can maximize my skill and the time that I have to sell to make as much income as possible. And I realized that there's only so much income you can make in a 9 to 5, right? Like, just because I'm in a 9 to 5 doesn't mean if I work more I will earn more, and it doesn't mean if I work less I will earn less. So the income is fixed and there's a ceiling to that income. However, I can maneuver the system to try and maximize that income in one way or the other. And an example of that is just outright getting a role that pays me better than the role that I'm in now, or getting a role at an organization where the remuneration and the salaries are much higher than where I'm at now, or transitioning into a division that pays more than where I'm at now. So it's not necessarily doing something big or something huge, but it's just really aligning my next steps to feed into freedom of time, freedom of location, freedom of finances. So that's on the finances front. Another thing on the finances front is also just starting an income stream that does not have a ceiling, and I've sat down with myself and I said, look, we are living in an economy where you cannot afford to just have your salary as the only income. So you got to start thinking about ways on how you can add to your income, ways on how you can make extra money. And this way that you make extra money also still needs to feed into the bigger picture of freedom. So it needs to be something that will take up some of your time, yes, because you're going to need to invest time in it, but in the longer run it should be able to operate without you in the picture. So I'm talking about like passive income streams, right? So I've started like thinking about ways that I can do that. And then the last thing is location freedom, and that one is a bit tricky to navigate right now. I haven't found a concrete way to do that, but I must say that the consideration to stay in the country to get an ILR or an indefinite leave to remain, and ultimately maybe a British passport, could contribute to the location freedom in the longer term, because then I'll be able to have freedom of location between South Africa and the UK and whichever countries that both these passports gives me access to. I must say though that the location to freedom part of it is not really like a pressing thing at this time, but it is something I want to work towards, because as long as you have a 9 to 5 at a certain organization in a certain country, you are automatically bound to that country. You are automatically stationed in that country by virtue of your job. So building those passive income streams and working towards, that freedom also frees you from the general corporate structure, and so frees you from having to be at a certain location at a certain time. I hope this makes sense, right? Like, I hope you guys are understanding where I'm going. So at the end of it all, right, the conclusion is that I still don't have a specific job or a specific industry or a specific kind of organization that I want to work with. I don't know that. I don't have that. But I do know the direction in which I want my career to go. And that direction is one that seeks to have freedom of time, freedom of finances, and freedom of location. What the actual goal is or what I will be when I reach that, I don't know. But the process and the direction that I need to take, at least from today, to get to that point is sort of becoming clearer and clearer. And I feel like I'm starting to make decisions about the next step that feed into these freedom things that I want to achieve. So I hope this makes sense, but that is where I sort of am right now. So I'm starting to realize that in looking for the next role or looking for the next thing to do, there are three things that I'm going to look at. And the first of all is the work-life balance, or the lifestyle that that role affords me. Will I be able to have time to dedicate to my other passions, to dedicate to myself, to dedicate to travel, to dedicate to my family if I want to? Will this next role give me a good work-life balance? That is number one. And number two, will this next role pay me enough in terms of income to afford the lifestyle that I want? And then the third thing is, will I grow in this next role, or how will I grow in this next role? And those are the three things that I'm looking for. So I'm not looking for a specific role. I am looking for a role that has these three things. Like, I hope that makes sense, because I just feel like I'm getting to a place where, for me, work-life balance is important. The income that I generate from that role has to be maximized, and that's important because it affords me the kind of lifestyle that I want. And then the third thing is climbing the corporate ladder, or the growth in that role, like progression from whatever role to manager to whatever. That is the third thing. And it's the third thing for me because I realize that ultimately, in my bigger grand scheme of things, I don't think I want to build my life around a corporate around the corporate space. I don't think I want to build my life and climb the corporate ladder. And so for me, career progression in the corporate space is the third and the least of the values that I hold. So yes, of course, I still want to be challenged in the role, but if the role is giving me work-life balance and it's maximizing my income, I wouldn't be so bothered about whether or not this route allows me to grow into CEO or CFO, or like, I hope that makes sense. So that is sort of the process that I'm in now. And like I said, in small ways and subtle ways, I'm trying to get my time back. I'm trying to maximize my income in subtle ways. And I'm really just starting with where I'm at right now, the role that I'm at right now, taking less clients, taking more time off, putting boundaries to not work on the weekend, and just finding ways to feed into the ultimate goal of freedom of time, freedom of location, and freedom of finances. So yeah, that is the video. I hope you guys sort of got something out of this, and I really want to encourage you guys to like sit down, take a pen, take a paper, sit in a quiet space and think and ask yourself the really hard questions. Ask yourself, what exactly do I see myself doing in my life on a day-to-day basis? Like, if you need to write down your whole day, write it down. In the morning, I will wake up and I'll shower, and this is what I'm gonna wear, and this is the kind of breakfast I'm gonna have. Am I gonna go to a restaurant for breakfast, or I'm gonna have it at home? What are you gonna do during the day? Do you want to spend your days like doing whatever? Like, do you want to be traveling? Do you want to be working on something impactful? What is it that you want to be working on? If you had all the money that you wanted, and you had all the assets, and you had everything that you are working towards now, what would you wake up and do with your life on a day-to-day basis? And start Like, start doing small things that contribute to that bigger picture, and say no to anything that is not part of that. So one of the things that I had to learn as well was, you know, like being in audit, especially in London, is there's so many audit roles that are available and that are open, and there's so many recruiters that reach out to me and be like, hey, we have an audit role here, and they pay really well, so the money is there. But I asked myself, does this feed into the lifestyle goal that I have for myself? Does this job help me balance out my lifestyle? And if it doesn't, then it doesn't fit into my goals, and I'm not gonna take it. So I challenge you guys and encourage you to start doing that exercise. If you want to buy the book, do buy the book. I recommend it. It takes a while for you to get through a chapter because there are exercises that you have to do, and it's really hard questions that you have to ask yourself. But just try it. Like, you know, there's no harm in like sitting down and asking yourself the hard questions and see where it leads you. I'm not saying this is gonna work for me. I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna materialize into anything, but if you never try, you will never know. And I'm just trying. So try with me. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave down a comment down below and let me know. And if you've watched until this far, leave me a little heart down in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.